Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is that time once again. This is your boy Bernie here on The Charge, giving the latest NBA news and rumors and also basketball opinions. Boom, I am live here. You see my face. How is everybody doing? Yo, it's your girl Gabby here. Gabby, you're not hosting The Charge. You're at work right now. I need you to calm down. I need your energy level to turn it down a little bit. But for everybody else, this is, of course, your boy Bernie here. Like I said, giving you the latest NBA news and rumors and also basketball opinions. Appreciate everybody that's coming out to the channel today. We got some interesting stories today to talk about. And what better way to enjoy it than with one of these, and I'm not sponsored by them, sparkling water, whatever you want to call these things. But anyway, we are here talking on The Charge. Like I said, giving the latest NBA news and rumors and basketball opinions. Appreciate each and every one of you that's coming out here. We got two stories to talk about really here today, guys. We got one about the Houston Rockets asked it for. And of course, we also have the Kyrie Irving situation. He's finally come out and talked to the media for a little bit. And if I could just describe it in one way, he is happy to be back. But hope you guys are doing well. Hopefully you guys are enjoying your Tuesday. For many of you, if you're in school, you got a day off, so hopefully you guys were enjoying that. But let's get started. Let's get right into it. So let's hit that live scene and get started. Alrighty, so we're here now to talk about this Ben Simmons trade, and essentially what the Houston Rockets were talking about was they were asking for, and this of course according to Kevin O'Connor of The Ringer, they were asking for Ben Simmons, Tyrese Maxey, and 3 first-round picks. Now, we know that the 76ers are kind of iffy on Ben Simmons at this point. They don't really see the potential that I think a lot of, the former GM and the past coach see in Ben Simmons. He's kind of been relatively the same player for probably most of his career at this point. And that's kind of disappointing as someone who was a fan of Ben Simmons. I've been really critical of him as of late. But the reason why I am critical of Ben Simmons because I know what type of player he can be. I know what the amount of work and work ethic and effort to getting to the point that he needs to get to. I think he could have been a really solid player, but in year 4, I think you're kind of sold and solidified as to what you are. And that's kind of something I have to realize with Lonzo Ball, unless he can also recover his talent as well and, get past the shooting slumps, because that's kind of his problem at the moment. But, going specifically to Ben Simmons, that to me is where it's a little frustrating because I know what type of player Ben Simmons can be, and lately he just hasn't shown it. And I'm really, like I said, it's really disappointing because look, I'm not expecting Ben Simmons to be this superstar, Hall of Fame type player. Like, I'm expecting him to get you at least 20 points a game, get you about, 7 or 8 rebounds, and get you 12 assists, because that's the type of player that I thought he could be. He has that LeBron James build in him, 6'10", with that long of a wingspan. But the problem is that it's just the mentality of Ben Simmons. The mentality of Ben Simmons is not to shoot. I mean, there's a situation where he had an open 3, he took it and just completely airballed it. And a lot of people like to bring that up and to make fun of him, but I'm not here to make fun of Ben Simmons in that aspect. I'm not here to make fun of him not making that shot. What I am here to talk about is just ultimately the Rockets were asking the 76ers to make the similar trade as to, the Houston Rockets were basically making the same trade, and the Brooklyn Nets said, "Here, we're gonna top this one off," and they did. They ultimately gave a better trade. For you people joining, thank you once again for joining me here on The Charge. Again, guys, I said, giving you the latest NBA news and rumors and also basketball opinions. Please remember to hit that subscribe button on the channel, on the YouTube channel at The Charge, because that is what's going to get us to that magic 1,000 number. And then from there, we can do live stream. We can do a lot of different things with 1,000 subscribers. So please remember to just, share this with your friends, subscribe, like this if you are interested in content. But let's read what the article said from Kevin O'Connor. The Houston Rockets asked for Ben Simmons, Tyrese Maxey, and 3 first-round picks from the Philadelphia 76ers for James Harden, sources told Kevin O'Connor from The Ringer. The 76ers declined, and the Houston Rockets traded Harden to Brooklyn, and a package netted in them 4 first-round picks, 3 pick swaps, cap relief, and Victor Oladipo. If the 76ers eventually decided that the Ben Simmons pairing with Joel Embiid is not maximizing their collective talents, they could attempt to trade for someone like Bradley Beal or Zach LaVine. Now, let me get this straight. You had the ability to trade away Ben Simmons for James Harden. Look, I mean, I understand, Joel Embiid is what, 27, 28 years old at this point. Actually, how old is not Ben Simmons. How old is Joel Embiid? So let's go to Joel Embiid and just see how old he is. So Joel Embiid is 26 years old. So he was born March. Okay, so he's going to be 27 relatively soon, right? And so when you really look at the situation at hand, when we really look at what's going on, the thing that frustrates me the most is that, look, James Harden is 31 years old. There's no reason why, if you're the 76ers, you wouldn't want to trade for him. Because, look, Ben Simmons is 20, he's 20-something, right? So he started 18. So he's about 22, 23 years old at this point. So you need to start thinking about what you're going to do with him. Are you going to move him on? Are you going to try and do something different? Because to be honest with you, it is frustrating that right now the 76ers, who were, at one point a couple years back, one win away from going to the NBA Finals, to now where they're at, where it seems like Ben Simmons isn't as aggressive as he once was. And I don't know whether that's the coaching in Doc Rivers or what the situation is at hand, but it's definitely frustrating to watch that type of basketball when I know what type of player he can be. I know what type of player Ben Simmons is capable of, but right now he's just not showing it. Like, he's just not showing the tenacity that I'm looking for. He's not showing any of that. Like, right now what I'm seeing from Ben Simmons is just kind of just mediocrity, in my opinion. Like, I'm not seeing like the Ben Simmons that we had years past, like in the second or third year, the all-star Ben Simmons. I'm not even seeing all-star Ben Simmons. You would have declined the trade too, Sean? If you're the 76ers, are you keeping Ben Simmons, or are you trying to trade him away and try and find a different team? Also, I want to check the Nets' best lineup in basketball. Who can stop? Okay, we're actually going to talk about that with Kyrie Irving in a little bit, Sean. But just to go back to your first question, like, is there anybody that you would trade Ben Simmons for, or are you going to keep Ben Simmons? Because to be honest with you, I don't see a situation where I even keep Ben Simmons. Because I think that Joel Embiid, injury prone, Ben Simmons, kind of just a meh player at this point. Like, I expect a lot more out of Ben Simmons, and so far I'm just not getting like the Ben Simmons that I think we all expected. Like, I'm expecting way more from Ben Simmons right now. But, ultimately that's kind of where we're at the moment. And it is frustrating. I would say it is frustrating because I know what type of player Ben Simmons can be. And like the big thing for me is, they're looking to maybe trade for Bradley Beal or Zach LaVine. I mean, I don't think the Joel Embiid Bradley Beal combination. I don't even think the Joel Embiid Zach LaVine combo is going to even be like remotely better than Ben Simmons. Like, Zach LaVine is a scoring guard. He's not a point guard. He's not a guy that makes reads and, does that type of stuff. Like, he's more of a scoring guy. You get him the rock, he's going to score it. And I think you need a little bit more than that. And Bradley Beal too. Like, Bradley Beal is a great number 2 and a great combo guy, but like, he can't be the number 1 guy. And I just feel like Joel Embiid, in my opinion, can't be a number 1 guy because of how injury prone he is. So when you add so many number 2s next to him, like, it just doesn't add up to, oh, this team's going to be dangerous. It's not as dangerous as the Brooklyn Nets. It's not as dangerous as the Milwaukee Bucks. Hell, it's not even as dangerous as the Boston Celtics with Jaylen Brown emerging as a superstar player. And so, like, everything that I'm seeing here, everything that I'm reading, like, it's just one of those things where I'm not really necessarily a fan of what's going on right now in Philadelphia. I feel like this organization is kind of at a standstill in purgatory, where I don't know if they're going to make the right move. I don't know if they're going to do the right thing. And it just seems like each and every time I think that they're one step closer to getting that championship. I love the pickup of Tyrese Maxey. It just seems like they always take 2 steps back. And they have so much talent around Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid that it is frustrating to me that they can't seem to get that group of players to work out very well. I don't know if it's the coaching, if it's the general manager, or what it is. But they're going to have to start figuring it out relatively soon because, like I said, it is frustrating to watch this type of basketball. I expect a lot better basketball from these guys, and right now, they're just not showing me that they're ready for that. They're not ready for prime time. And I'm hoping and praying that at some point they will be. But like I said, I'm not really confident right now in what I'm seeing from the 76ers. Let me know if I'm wrong in my assertion and my assumption of the 76ers and all that. But like I said, I'm not a huge fan of kind of like the Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid combo. I think they need to trade him, and I think that this package was actually really good. The Houston Rockets, they're kind of in a rebuild mode, but the thing is that they already have John Wall, they have Boogie Cousins, now they have Victor Oladipo due to the trade. But honestly, if I was the Houston Rockets, I would have honestly taken Ben Simmons and say, we're going to start building around you. And I understand, like, as me, I've been criticizing Ben Simmons as a number one, but if you can draft one of these guys, whether it's a Cade Cunningham or, in this case, like waiting for Amani Bates or, kind of these other guys, BJ Boston, even, like, there's so many players that you can pair Ben Simmons with, and that actually might be a good combination. But right now, the Houston Rockets are just, they're going in a different direction. And the question for me is going to be, because of how good this Brooklyn Nets team is, those picks aren't even going to be that good anyway. They're going to be like in the later rounds, and they're not even going to be worthy of a selection. I mean, you're going to take there's some solid players in these drafts, like, later on in the draft, but the best players are in the earlier part of this draft. Like I said, the Cade Cunninghams, the Jalen Suggs, the Evan Mobley, like, just so many of these other players that they could potentially get are just not in anywhere near where the Houston Rockets are going to be at the moment. Unless, like, Kyrie Irving decides to leave, which we'll talk about in a second, or if, James Harden decides he doesn't want to stay, or Kevin Durant's like, you know what, these guys are unreliable, I'm ready to move on to a new team. I don't necessarily see that was the better trade. I honestly would have taken the Ben Simmons player, see what I can do. And Tyrese Maxey, I think, could be a solid player. Like I said, I think he could be a steal of the draft. But at the end of the day, we'll see what the 76ers do. I don't know if this experiment with Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid is going to be over relatively quick, because I don't see this working out. I really don't. And the reason why I don't see this working out very often, or where I don't see it working out at all, is because I know what Ben Simmons is. I know what type of player he is. I know what he's going to. It's just not something that I think is going to be worth, like, keeping. It's not going to be worth, like, anything at this point. So we'll see what happens. Like I said, the 76ers have a lot of time to think about what their next move will be. Let me know in the comment section down below. What do you guys think the move will be? Do we see Ben Simmons stay? Do we see Joel Embiid stay? Like, if you were the GM of the 76ers, what move are you making? Let me know in the comment section down below. And that's kind of like the first story. And then we'll talk about, Sean, we'll talk about your Brooklyn Nets in just a second. But I did want to talk about, want to talk about Kyrie Irving. And we'll watch a little bit of it. Let me go to Twitter really quick and pull up some Kyrie Irving, some videos so you can see what he said. So let's go to Kyrie Irving. We're not going to watch AT&T Girl. And just kind of like see what he said here, and we'll watch the 2-minute clip here.
Happens after this inauguration tomorrow, and also, secondly, do you feel like you can still find your joy playing basketball?
Thing that is, pretty interesting in watching when you take a break from everything. There's just so many assumptions about what's going on, and so many people feel like they know me best, and they have no idea who I am, nor what I'm about, or what I stand for, or even attempt to take the time, or even for me to invite them to take the time. So it's a two-way street. Um, and when things become overwhelming in life, you just got to take a step back and realize what's important. And I love to play. It's never been questioned. I've committed myself, you know, when this wasn't even a thing for me. I didn't really care about media, didn't really care about the fandom. All I cared about was just the ethics of the game and being taught the fundamentals. And now that it's become bigger and there's more of a responsibility that I have in this position I'm in, I'm grateful because I'm able to stand on this platform with others alongside of me that have sacrificed and are going through similar things. So I'm not alone in this. And, that's just a big thing about also mental health, just coming in and being balanced with yourself first and then being able to perform. So, with everything going on in the world, politically, socially, like I said, it's hard to ignore. I want to make changes daily. There are so many oppressed communities, so many things going on that are bigger than just a ball going in the rim. So for me, I just, like I said, it's just a balance of it. of knowing I can delegate my responsibilities off the court to people that I'm surrounded around that are for the fight and are fighting behind the scenes and in front in the lines. And like I said, I'm not the only one that's fighting, so I'm grateful to unify with others, and that's all I tried to do. And on the court, the same way, just play with a smile, leave something that I've felt very dear to my heart with this game, and then whatever my legacy is after that as a person, that's all I really care about.
So we just, we saw the interview with Kyrie Irving. The one thing that I'd noticed about his interview during this whole time was just the body language of Kyrie Irving. I mean, you can see here, like he slumped over. He doesn't look happy. He's clean shaven now. Like, it's one of those things where I don't necessarily think that he's happy right now at the moment. I think that he's obviously upset with the birthday party leak coming out. I think he's upset with some of that stuff, and I don't blame him because he probably wanted to keep that a secret. I'm sure most of us do. I mean, we all want to get out at this point. We want to, celebrate with our friends. We want to go do things that, are, in a pandemic are not acceptable at the moment. But at the end of the day, Kyrie Irving, my friend Logan came on the show yesterday and talked about maybe the Nets were lying about this. Do you look at his recent Instagram post and look like he gained a couple pounds? Let me see, Supreme Gamer. How you doing, Supreme Gamer? I didn't say hello. I'm sorry about that. How you doing, man? Let's see here. So let's go to, you said Instagram with Kyrie Irving? Okay, let me see here. So let's go to Kyrie. I don't think he necessarily gained some pounds, Supreme Gamer. I think what it is, it's just we haven't seen Kyrie. Like, obviously, a week or 2 weeks has felt like an eternity. But I think what it is, when I look at a guy like Kyrie Irving, is that I do think that there's something wrong. And there's nothing wrong with pointing that out. And, I think, and the thing that my friend Logan got into yesterday with me about was just that, maybe the Nets are lying because they're, Kyrie Irving said, hey, I don't want you telling people about this stuff. But the thing I argued with him, and the thing that I'll say here to you guys as well, is that I do think that mentally he's just drained. Obviously, I think a lot of us are drained at this point. We're drained from all the politics that are going on. We're drained from the pandemic and, the toll it's taken on so many people. I mean, I know friends personally that probably want to go out and, get a drink with some friends, party, do things that you normally would do. For me, I also feel it as well. I mean, lucky for Kyrie Irving, lucky for college players as well. They're able to go play basketball. They're able to go do things. And in some states, it's open where you can play basketball. But here in Washington, I do feel for the kids. I do feel, for the kids that I coach. Like, man, it is hard, man. It's hard. I feel like we should be inside playing basketball. We should be inside, trying to distract ourselves from everyday life. And that's what I try to use basketball for sometimes. Obviously, maybe that's not the healthiest thing. Maybe the healthiest thing is to kind of see somebody, kind of understand things. But, I look at basketball as kind of an escape. And I'm sure, for some of you guys, if the states are open, you guys use basketball or exercising as that type of situation. I mean, for me, it was the gyms. Like, for the longest time, before the reopening and then closing again, like, the gym was something that I always look forward to each and every day. Do my weightlifting. Now I'm doing some cardio. And it's just one of those things that just gets you, I would say, like, mentally prepared for dealing with things, whether it's life or work or whatever it is that you're dealing with. Like, I use the gym for that in that aspect. And I think that Kyrie Irving, maybe he sees like social justice reform as that type of motivation for him, just like I see the gym or playing basketball. But the thing is, and the thing that I will always say is that you have to be honest with your employer. You have to be honest with the people that you work with, whether you're in retail or whether you're, $30 million a year basketball